everybody, and welcome to Storm Reads. And today I'm going to be talking about the books that I read from the week of the 12th to the 18th. I read 4 books last week, and it was not too bad. I've been working on like a lot of different books, like just reading a few chapters here and there and everything. And then there was one book that I just wasn't enjoying it too much, so I did DNF one, and then one that I just really wasn't into too much. So it kind of bogged me down a little bit. But I did get 3 audiobooks done and then 1 physical book. And so we'll just go ahead and talk about those. And so the first one is Spy School Secret Service by Stuart, Gibbs, and this is number 5 in the Spy School series. And this is a bit about Ben, who is in an academy that's supposed to be for CIA. In the very first book, he gets put in there on accident, sort of, kind of to be like somebody who flushes out a mole. He really wasn't supposed to actually survive, you could kind of say, but he does, and so now they have to keep him in the spy school. And he's actually not too bad at it at times, but sometimes a lot of it has to do with this one girl, Erica, who is like really good at being a spy, who usually saves him and everything. But now and then he comes up with a pretty good plan and everything. But there's a secret evil agency called Spider, and they want Ben, and they've been after him, wanted him to go over to the bad side, but since he wouldn't, now they're trying to kill him all the time. And in this one, Ben is supposed to be going to the White House to kind of infiltrate the White House and get to be friends with Jason, who is the president's son. And they thought everybody was on board with that. The president said that his son was on board with that, but then you find out that the son really doesn't care. He's like, what am I going to do? Tell my father that no, I'm not going to let this kid come in here or whatever. And so things don't go very good for Ben while he's there. And then there's an accident that happens, and he is blamed for it and deemed a traitor by his country, and the CIA are after him, and he has to try to figure out what exactly happened. They're pretty sure that it was Spider, and he has his friends, Erica, Miles, and Zoe, and everything that are trying to help him, because they know that he didn't do anything. And so yeah, it was pretty fun. I give it 3 stars. It's a pretty solid, just kind of fun, goofy series and everything. I'm trying to work really hard on getting it done this year, or at least caught up. I think there are 9 books out in the series, and so this one is number 5, and it's on my series about series list, so I'm making pretty good progress with it. And then the next one I have is Enjoy the View by Sarah Morgenthaler, and this is number 3 in the Moose Springs series. And I just really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I don't read a whole lot of contemporary romance, but this one, it was just fluffy fun to me. And this is about River, who is a kind of a washed up actress. Her career is tanking, so she's decided to take on being like the director, producer of a documentary. She wants to go to Moose Springs because it's so pretty there and do a documentary there, but that little town doesn't really like tourists, and so they're like, they'll want them there and don't want them filming there, and so they're having a lot of problems. So they decide to go outside of Moose Springs and kind of do their filming there. And Easton, he's this big old kind of lumberjack type guy who he scales mountains and everything, and he's about mountain size too, because he's like a big guy with this big beard and a man bun. I don't like man buns, but anyway, he's driving along and he sees this lady on the side of the road. And so what do you know, I mean, what would you do? You'd pull up there and see if they need help. Well, she's like, oh no, here we go again. She's just not used to people being friendly, because she's from like the big city, and then the small town, you know, you see some lady on the side of the road walking, you're gonna pull up and ask them, you know, what's going on. And that gets him involved in all their shenanigans and things, and they end up not having like a place to stay because they got booted out of the hotel that they were at in Moose Springs, because they were trying to document and they seen a bear and thought they would try to document it, and it just gets them in trouble and gets them booted out. And so he puts them up at his house for the night, and then they decide that since they can't actually document in Moose Springs, there is a mountain that they could climb, and so they decide that they want to do that. River's actually pretty sporty and has climbed some things, but her two friends that are with her, on the other hand, aren't really experienced in this kind of stuff, so you know disaster is going to strike while they're up there, and it does. But one of the best parts of this whole story, I think, is the marmot, and it's so cute. This little marmot becomes like attracted to Easton and is chasing him around, and he gets really disappointed whenever he like shoos the marmot away and everything, and that would just add it was just cute. And I think I liked it mostly for that. But I like how the author always puts in some kind of a different animal. Like, I mean, there's the moose that is like the main thing because it is Moose Springs, and Ulysses in the first one. In the second one, Rick, I think was his name, has a hedgehog that he puts sweaters on. And of course, Grant also has a dog, Jake, and in this one we have the marmot, which was cute. And yeah, I just really liked it. I thought it had a lot of laugh out loud kind of funny moments. River had some really great dialogue. When they're at Easton's house, he has a barn, and they were like, teasing about, about there being like a lot of chainsaws and bad things in there, because like, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, things hanging on the wall and stuff. And then he's like, well, and they're like, oh, seriously, we gotta go check this out. And they do, and then they call it the murder barn because they have all this stuff, and there's like, it's probably rust, but is it really rust? Because it could be blood, and they keep teasing him about it a little bit. And yeah, I just thought it was a lot of fun. I gave it 5 stars. I just really enjoy this series overall. It's just fun. I really like the narrator too. I can't remember her name, but I like the narrator, and I thought it's pretty well paced for me, and I enjoyed it a lot. And so I think if you like fluffy contemporary, you could give it a try. I know some people that just thought the Tourist Attraction was just okay, which is the first one, and I liked the first one a lot. And I thought the second one was better, and then I really, really liked this third one. And I'm really excited to see what's going to happen next. Hopefully, I'm hoping that it's going to be Ash, which is Easton's sister, because she is like one of those that doesn't think she needs a man to do anything, and she's like all over that, she's really tough. And I'm just like wanting to see who she gets like matched up with, because I think it'll be a lot of fun. Then the next one I have is See Something, and this is by Carol J. Perry, and it is number 11, I believe. I didn't write it down. Number 11 in the Witch City series. It is the latest one, so I am all caught up on this series now, and that was on my series about series challenge, so I'm glad I got that one checked off. And in this one, Lee has a new job. She has went from field reporter to project manager. And so now she's more behind the scenes. And you would think because she's behind the scenes, she wouldn't get involved in so much of the murder and mayhem that happens. But she sees a young lady on a bench. She goes over there to ask her, what's wrong. And she doesn't know who she is. She doesn't know how she got there, kind of. And so she's like, uh-oh. And so she gets Pete, which is her boyfriend, who's a detective, to come and check things out, and they are all feeling kind of bad for her because she can't remember who she is. And then there is a murder that happens, and they're wondering if they're like connected, and so some of them think that maybe she saw what happened, which is why her memory is gone, because it was the trauma. But then, is she involved? You don't know if that happened, or is she playing them? But now all of a sudden, Lee has like this stalker, and it's the killer, and he keeps like stalking her and teasing with her and toying with her, and she has no idea why this guy is doing this, because she didn't see anything. All she did was see the lady and ask her, if she needed help. But now it seems like Lee is involved in this, but it's different than normal. She's trying to stay away from the murder mystery type thing and work on her new job, but then all of a sudden she gets kind of thrown into this, and so she ends up having to try to figure it out. Even though she's trying to do it low key, this guy keeps taunting her, so it keeps pushing her into the mystery, which I thought was pretty cool. And I really like this. I overall enjoy this series. I gave it 4 stars. It's just, to me, it's just a real solid, good series. It's not a favorite series, but it is a good series. And then we have the Maltese Falcon by Dashiell Hammett. I was really, really curious about this. I've never read a hard-boiled detective novel before. And it was this week, the last week was the March Mystery Madness mid-year something. I don't know. It's a subgenre September or whatever. It was like a mouthful. And anyway, the challenge was you were supposed to read a mystery subgenre that you don't normally read, which I've not ever read any hard-boiled. I've been wanting to. And I don't know, maybe I picked the wrong one to start off with, but I didn't care for this too much. It was okay, but there was just a lot. I right at this point, I think hard-boiled detective equals jerk, because Sam Spade is a jerk. He's a male chauvinist jerk, and I didn't like him as a character. He's very morally gray, and he doesn't care what he will do to make a buck, pretty much. And if he can throw you under the bus to get himself out of trouble, he will. That's just how he is. And it's not a spoiler, because it happens right at the second, like the first part of the second chapter, like page 11. But a lady comes and needs their help. And, this is how it is. His secretary is like, there's a girl that wants to see you. Her name's Wonderly. And he's like a customer and says, I guess so, but you'll want to see her anyway. She's a knockout. So, So it seems like the only way he'll really want to see her is if they're pretty and they're desperate or something. But, this was written in 1929, so you have to kind of take a lot of that with a grain of salt. I understand that. But anyway, she wants him to, tell this one guy, Thursby. He sends Miles to do that, and then Miles ends up dead. And he doesn't even really seem to care that his partner is dead. He didn't like his partner anyway. And he's like, who cares? I didn't like him anyway. And then you find out that he's having an affair with his partner's wife to begin with. So it's okay. And then you have this lady, and this lady just was really over the top, and she actually kind of reminded me of the character Jessica the Rabbit off of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, because I could just see her flushing her little eyes and saying, oh, I need your help. I can't tell you what's going on, but I need your help. Now, you can't ask me for anything about what it is, but please, you need to help me. I don't feel comfortable. I'm in danger. You got to help me. And he's like, pretty much, well, what kind of cash do you got? If you got enough money, then I might, do it, and I don't care what's going on. And then he gets involved with these other guys, and pretty much, they're looking for this Maltese Falcon, and it's supposed to be worth a lot of money. And then you got the police looking for who's been killing these people off, because there's been 3 deaths through the book, and is Spade kind of involved in a little bit of that? Could be, but as long as he can spin a tale to throw the police in a different direction, or he's being paid enough money to look the other way, he doesn't seem to care. And I'm like, it wasn't exactly what I thought it was going to be. But there are some interesting things in it. I did enjoy some aspects of it. I don't usually do half stars, but I think I would probably give this 2.5 stars, but on Goodreads I'd probably round it up to 3. But yeah, it repeated itself a lot, it seems like. I mean, like the lady's always, I'm in trouble, I need help, I'm in trouble, I need help, it's dangerous, you've got to help me, Spade, you've got to help me. And that was another thing. It was like, Spade this, Spade that, Spade this. It's like you can use the word he every now and then. You know, it doesn't have to be Spade did this and Spade did that and Spade did this. You know, it was annoying. But yeah, so it's my first Dashiell Hammett, and I don't know. I am curious to read more of his books, and he's supposed to be so iconic, but you do have to take it that this was written in 1929, like I said. And there are a lot of things that I know a lot of people would not like. There's this character, his name is Mr. Gutman, and they call him the Fat Man, and you know, you just gotta ignore that kind of stuff and read the book. But really, I just thought it was boring and repetitive, and it took me a while to read it. And I, you know, at least I can say I read it. So there we have that. And that's it. I read only one book for subgenre September for the March Mystery Madness, but at least I got one done. So that's the books that I read. I read 4 books. 3 of them were audiobooks, and then the 1 print book. And I think I did pretty good. I will say that I did DNF one, like I said earlier, and that one was Stabbed in the Baklava by Tina Cashian. It's the 2nd book in the Kebab Kitchen series. And I was just bored. I don't normally DNF cozies, and I haven't done that very often. I think this would probably be maybe the 3rd cozy that I've ever DNF'd and just not finished it. I did skim kind of the ending to see who the killer was and everything, but I probably DNF'd it about halfway through. I just didn't want to pick it up, and it was kind of part of the reason why my reading was getting slogged and stuff, and I was starting to get kind of burned out, and I didn't want that to happen, so I just went ahead and DNF'd it. Some of the others that were reading it didn't care for it too much, so then I knew it wasn't just me, so then I didn't feel so bad. Hopefully the 3rd book, which is it One Feta in the Grave or something like that? The titles. Maybe it will be better. I don't know. We'll give it a try, and if I don't like the 3rd book, then I think I just won't read any more of the series, and I will just read it through the other people who are reading it in the series read along. So if you've read any of these books, I would really like to see what you think about them, and please leave a comment down below and everything, especially if you've read the Maltese Falcon. I would like to know if you liked it or if you didn't like it, or if you felt like me, it was just kind of overrated. Maybe. I'm kind of curious to see what other people think about it. And so if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.